You answer the listing on a Tuesday in April. Private financial consulting. Monterrey-based. Fluency in Spanish required. The salary is $8,400 a month, cash equivalent, deposited into an account you didn't open yourself. You're 26. You have $34,000 in student debt and a credential from a mid-tier university in Guadalajara. You tell yourself the money makes sense. You tell yourself a lot of things in April. The first week, you don't understand what you're looking at. The ledgers are clean, too clean, structured in layers. Shell companies nested inside holding companies nested inside legitimate exporters. Aguacates del Norte S.A. moves 140 tons of avocado monthly on paper. You've never seen an avocado. You don't ask. By month 3, you know. You don't say it out loud. You don't write it down, but you know. The numbers are too round. The timings are too precise. The cash flows arrive in $9,800 increments, $200 below the federal reporting threshold, across 40 accounts twice a week. Someone designed this carefully. Now you're maintaining it. The distinction feels important for a while. Rodrigo introduces himself on a Friday. He is soft-spoken. He wears linen. He shakes your hand and says your name correctly and tells you that you have a very organized mind. You thank him. Later, you will understand that this was the moment. Not the job listing, not the first paycheck. This moment. When a man who moves $340 million a year tells you that you are valuable, something in you accepts it before your brain can vote. The promotions are not celebrations. They are adjustments. Month 6, you're moved to the primary ledger. Month 9, you get a second phone. Month 14, you sit in a room with 3 other men while a lawyer explains how a toll road concession in Tamaulipas is structured to absorb $12 million in quarterly inflows. You take notes. You are the most technically skilled person in the room. You feel, briefly, proud. You bury that immediately. Your girlfriend notices before you do. Not the work, you never discuss the work, but the way you sit at dinner, the way you stop finishing sentences. You used to talk about moving to Mexico City, about opening a small practice, about what a normal life might look like assembled from ordinary decisions. You stop talking about that sometime around month 11. You don't announce the change, it just stops. You rationalize in small steps the way you were trained to think about numbers, incrementally, with each figure justified by the one before it. You tell yourself the money was already dirty before you touched it. You tell yourself the system existed before you arrived. You tell yourself that the alternative, is not something you examine directly. Then the folder lands on the table, your transaction logs, a US federal stamp, a date from 6 weeks ago. Rodrigo slides it across without expression and watches your face with the patience of a man who has done this before. You say you don't know how it got there. He nods after 4 seconds. You count them. 4 seconds of a man deciding whether you're lying. You have never been more aware of your own breathing. That night, a stranger sits in your apartment. He shows a badge. He gives you 48 hours. He slides a card across your kitchen table and says the word co-conspirator in a tone that makes it sound procedural. You look at the card. You look at the door. You think about the accountant who stopped showing up in February. Nobody mentioned him. Nobody asked. He was simply no longer a subject that existed. You burn the card over the kitchen sink. You watch the corners curl and blacken. You go to bed. In the morning, you put on the same clothes you always wear. You get into the Suburban. You nod at the driver. You sit in the converted ranch house and you open the master ledger and you begin a new column, and you enter the first figure with the same precision you always use, and the cursor blinks, and the room is quiet, and outside, it is already 34 degrees, and the day is beginning the way all the other days have begun, and somewhere in a federal building in Texas, a case file with your real name on it is being reclassified from witness to subject, and you have no way of knowing that, and the numbers are clean, and the work is good, and you keep going. You keep going.